Oh shit. Oh, okay. I guess everyone's here. I didn't even realize that. Okay. So there's that. And junk. What's up, dudes? Dudes and dude-oats. Hey. Oh, crap. I messed up the chat box. Can you hear me? Alright, sweet. I can see my green moving audio. Hello, hello. Chat's really popping off. I'm actually starting on time too, which is like a first ever. Green Turtles, what up? Hello, hello. Resi Claire Redfield playing Resident Evil. That's a perfect name. Donnie Marie with the 2 Canadians says hi. Hello. And welcome. Christian Pitzer is the second like. Well, I hope many more likes will follow behind you guys. We can get a ton more people in here if you click that like button so YouTube knows. Oh my god. These guys like this? These guys like these guys? Hey Jay, what up? What up? Welcome back. Peppo, it automatically blocks you if you promote yourself. It knows all the keywords. The AI has become sentient. Jensen is here. What up, brother man? We're going to be reading some real bangers. Literal bangers, like gangbangers, stalkers, that whole shebang. Tiny Green Turtle says I am medicated, so be prepared for it to get stupid. Good. We need as much silliness as we can get tonight. Lily Shuff with the 5 says your voice is amazing. Thank you, Lily. Thank you for the 5. It's oh so kind of you. And Andres Garcia with the 2 says thank you for all you do, brother. We appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Garcia or Mrs. Thank you for being here, guys. We're already moving close to 200 people arriving within the first 3 minutes. You guys were prepped and ready for this one. Ridley, welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Make sure you say re when I tweet it out. I know. I already tweeted out. I totally forgot the re's. I added everyone on Twitter, though, so hopefully that gets to literally every single person who has a Twitter, and they can come in, and we can crash the stream. Also, I changed one setting this time in relation to not necessarily the bitrate, because the bitrate's set down to 2500, so that should be very generous for people with even the worstest internet. But I set it down to 30 frames per second instead of 60, because obviously I'm reading stuff. I don't think I really need 60 FPS in the middle of a narration binge. Cherry Michelle with the 2 says thanks for helping me sleep. You are welcome. You are very welcome. I'm glad I can help people sleep. Sleep is very important. As I tell everyone, you need to get at least 24 hours of sleep a day. And I'm here to help. If I could have been born and just never have woken up, that would have been super, super ideal. Because then I would be super rested for anything that came my way. Dave, you're watching some debates. Uh-oh. Things were getting spooky dooky. Mornidest. Storm the Let's Read stream. Joel can't scare us all. The hell I can't. I'll bring my voice real low. Is my microphone lower tonight? It shouldn't be. As I get closer, it will start to pick me up more, but that's when I'm just kind of chit-chatting. I pull back a little bit, and you can probably hear it kind of cutting a little bit. What song is this? This is Doja Cat, Lonely, produced by Alex, or Alex. This is on College Music, the YouTube channel. I love them, along with all that lo-fi hip-hop shebangers. This is on the free music playlist, so free for everyone to just listen to, hear it, use it in a stram, what have you. Sabriel, or Sabril, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Wood with the 5s. I listen to your stories when I go to bed. Best sleep ever. Your voice is super soothing as well. Thank you, Miss Wood. I appreciate that. And Cheyenne Dory Bob. I love that name. That's what the 2 says. I was about to take a nap, but now I'm wide awake. Uh-oh, I got you all sorts of hyphy. Akron with the Tree Fitty says Tree Fitty. Oh yeah. I'll say about Tree Fitty. Dude, I miss South Park. I haven't watched South Park in I don't even know how long. Not because I dislike it, but it's just kind of like watch one of those things where you sort of I don't know, sort of slowly fade away from a show and that kind of, that whole process. Though I'm sure it's just as comedic. Family Guy and South Park were my shiz back in the day. So I'm always curious how they're doing. Old Muffin, never enough South Park. That's true. They need to just keep making the jokies. More to this. You forgot South Park existed. Yeah, it's so strange. We have Family Guy, South Park, and The Simpsons, and I'm sure many other cartoons that were a lot more popular back in the day. And it seems like they've slowly faded into obscurity as far as whether or not they're. I don't even know if they're making new episodes, to be honest, but I thought they were. Old Muffin, you started watching South Park in 4th grade. That's funny, because so did I. I loved South Park when I was younger, and I just always wanted to see Kenny getting killed. And just all the swear words. It was so edgy when you're a little kid, you know what I mean? Still funny as I got older. A lot of good stuff, but I remember there was a period of time where my mom finally watched an episode of South Park, and she loved it, but then abruptly my parents decided that a 3rd grader should not be watching South Park. So it was banished from my eyes and ears for a period of time, but little did they know I was in my room secretly on Comedy Central at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night, watching every new episode, and every time they'd sneak in, all I had to do was, or every time they came down the hallway, just had to put the channel down about 4 notches till it went to Cartoon Network. It was the perfect crime, to be honest. Christy Withers with the 10 says, hello, hope you're having a wonderful night. Love listening. Thank you, Christy. Good to see you here. Welcome. And Bertha Albor with the 5 says, tomorrow is my long-awaited day off from a 6-day work week. I needed this, absolutely. I hope you're all done with work and you can just chill out. We all can have a nice little hangout sesh. The Brainy Quick, collab with the Creepy Fox, would you? I certainly would. Creepy Fox is a good human bang. Adam, thanks for the buck. Richard Long, I've lost the feed. Yeah. Seems to be an ongoing issue, and I really need to get to the bottom of that, why it's such a struggle for some people. I don't know if other people in the house are downloading 10 terabytes of hentai, but I promise you that I've got the settings as low as possible. My best advice, guys, if you're struggling with that tonight, and if you could let people know who have that issue in the stream, to just tell them to turn the quality down to like 240p, and hopefully the audio still sticks with you. On a scale of 1 to eggplant, how stoned am I, man? I am a freaking... I'm peachy keen. If you had to be reincarnated into an everyday object, what would you be? I probably would be the aquifer that I rub on my lips every day before I start reading stories. As you know, you gotta lube up the lips, and I've always been curious how that creamy goodness feels being spread around. The government's trying to keep you from your cult leader. They can't keep us apart for long. You understand? Do you understand? Garcia with 2 buckaroonies says, would you consider narrating The Strangers? I've never heard of The Strangers. What in the Sam Hill is that? Because that sounds pretty good. Ridley H with the 5 says, hey man, I really enjoy your content and I greatly appreciate all of the stuff you do. Love you. Thank you, Ridley. I like that name. Ridley's cool. Cool name. Nina Love, welcome back, Nina. Good to see you again with the 3. Thank you. How much of a boss man am I? Oh boy. I'm like Big Boss for Metal Gear Solid. That's how serious it really gets around here. Battlefield. You're my favorite person. You help me sleep and help me stay up being ready for everything. Lol. Lol. Sorry. Love your channel. Please keep up what you're doing till YouTube shuts down. Please, you are awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully YouTube doesn't shut down. No, YouTube is not shutting down. But I would like to take this this narration game all the way into infinity, but I know nothing lasts forever, especially the good things. Cheyenne, my favorite game. Still gotta say Overwatch. They recently are now introducing Roll Lock, which locks you into 222, and you can queue up to play whatever type of character you want, and to me, that's reinvigorated a love for the game. It's really gotten rid of toxicity, and it's pretty sweet. Joe Dart, when did I start narrating videos? Great channel, by the way. Thank you. I started back in August of 2014, believe it or not. So the channel has been rolling along here almost 5 years. It's crazy to think some channels can just blow up in the course of 1 year. But I'm very thankful for as far as I've come in the 5 years here. MDLO Gaming. I am the ladder, my friend. The ladder. Mantis. What's poppin'? What is poppin'? Popcorn. Garcia says, I hope you get a chance to look up The Strangers creepypasta. Your voice would be perfect. Yeah. I haven't touched creepypastas in quite a while. I really need to. Hey, Jamie. Welcome. Yes, you are early. We're going to be chit-chatting for another 5 minutes or so before we kick off these Stalker stories today. If you guys haven't already, please hit that likey button down below, that thumbs up. Aw, M. Just the simple name M with the 12 buckaroonies says love. Well, love to you, M. Thank you. It's very kind. It's funny, whenever stuff gets donated through Streamlabs, it always catches me off guard, because it's like some guy falling through space and getting blown away. Thank you, M. Lucy, you're being exposed. What are they exposing you for? Be Smiley, stream is working for you. Kind of bummed, couldn't enjoy the last few lives. Yeah, very sorry about that. I am honestly curious if I could even bring down the bitrate below 2500, maybe even 2000. Like what is like if anybody's familiar with streaming, I'm curious how low can I bring it down, but because really I don't need the visual elements to be really that, you know, astounding, because I'm just gonna be hearing me voice. Just gonna be hearing me voice. Lila, welcome, says Joel probably has a stalker. Pradeep. Yes, my cat does stalk me in the night at times. He'll smash his body whenever he eventually wants in the room. Thrust himself into the door. Hopefully that doesn't get picked up. With that voice, yes, Joel has many a stalker. Is there a computer screen? How do you get on your computer? If you're curious, if you're referring to the overlay that's playing right now, it's just a video, you know, played through OBS, and then I'll go to a reading screen eventually, but you guys won't be able to see my computer screen on the off chance I reveal all of my nudie photos of me that I just have littering my desktop. Sure would hate for Keemstar to get a hold of those. Who knows? He probably already has them. I sent them to him, actually, so he definitely has them. Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 2 says, why can't stalkers be useful and bring you food? Yeah, I know. Those are called boyfriends. And girlfriends. Shush. What's up, Robin? Good to see you. Robin did the art here on the screen you're seeing right now. Show him some love. And he's helping me out with other projects going on as well. And he says, show us your homework folder. Oh yeah, I honestly do still have a homework folder from college that I could probably dig through and read at some point. It'd be funny. Sabaton Liam with the $9.82. Love your channel. Helps me get to sleep. Keep on doing the good work. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. It's funny because my monitor is over there. So what I should do, maybe I can even make that bigger for my blind eyes. Oh. Yeah, interesting. I can bring it over here as another window. Wow, that worked out absolutely perfectly. It's almost like we're in a freaking simulation, man, and everything's pre-planned. We got another minute before we kick off the stories here. I'm happy to field any questions you guys may have. Jason says, you have any from the stalker's perspective? There are always so creepy. You know, there is one in this, there is one in this video today, from what I kind of glanced over, that did talk about being something that someone read on a Reddit sort of comment thread that I believe might be from the perspective of the stalker. So you might actually get to hear one of those really creepy ones tonight from a real weirdo. Oh. Huh. Oh, that's weird. Sabaton Liam, when I brought up the new window over here, over on that one it says you donated $9.82, and over on this one it says, oh, I see, because it's Aussie, so that was $14.29 Aussie. Interesting. I wonder why that didn't stay consistent. Jamie asks, Joel, have you watched The Boys? I've seen The Boys advertised like 30 freaking trillion times on Twitch, along with the new Grand Theft Auto expansion. It's so funny how, like, whenever you're on certain areas that you can't use ad block or whatever, it's like you're just inundated with a particular ad over and over and over again, which actually might actually be the strongest way to get to people, is you just, like, desensitize them. Brittany B, how was my day? My day was good. Noella Being animates. Oh, I'd like to see your animations. Says, I like listening to your podcast when I'm drawing. That's awesome. Definitely send me via email or however some of your animations will be awesome to check them out. Well, guys, we have arrived at the 20-minute mark. Almost about 300 people. Be sure to share this out to get some more people in here on your Twitter, wherever at all possible. Lila, did you spell? No, you spelled Pradeep's name right. It might just have another R in there before the D. Just two. Yeah, 2 R's is absolutely correct. But yeah, Jamie was, what's it called? The Boys. Is it good? Also, we're going to be kicking off into a good friend of mine, Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse, provides the background noise here. It's going to be faint, so let me know if you want me to turn it up, but sometimes it kind of fluctuates. And that will provide the dark ambient. And we're switching over to our reading tab. If you guys have a story, send it to reddit.com/letsreadofficial. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Twitter's Let's Read Creepy. Instagram is letsread.official. Keep up to date whenever I'm streaming, when new videos come out, and maybe I'll post a meme or two. Really gory. Interesting. I saw the one dude in the advertisement threw a dude up in the air and was kind of having a conversation with some kids, and then the dude landed on a car behind him, and I'm like, well, he's probably not alive unless this is like a cartoon, and I don't think it's a cartoon. So I was kind of like thinking, like, I wonder if this is like a more serious or more mature superhero movie, kind of like the or a show like The Watchmen or something like that. All right, let's get this fire started. I actually have to record about 10 seconds of silence so I can remove background noise. So 10 seconds of silence for our fallen soldiers. Alright, thanks guys. B Smiley says, my stalker is the reason why I get anxiety from phone calls. I ignore my phone to this day. Yeah, that's certainly, you know, honestly, experiences like that can really, experiences like that can have that effect on you, for sure. Anything can stick with you for a long period of time. And can you make love to this voice? You can try. You can just insert in the disc tray and see where that leads you. Lily, your name is Joe. No, it's Joel, so just another L on the end there. But you can call me Let's Read, call me Joel, call me Joel, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm just here to lull you into sleep. I'm a 25-year-old woman, and I've been living in Japan for a few years now. It's a beautiful country, every bit as fascinating and alien as I imagined, but I do have one major complaint. In rural areas where foreigners are a rarity, Japanese men can become a little bit obsessive when it comes to foreign girls, especially fair-haired, blue-eyed girls such as myself. I've dealt with quite a few situations where I was way beyond uncomfortable, even one or two where I feared I might be abducted or worse. One such encounter took place a few years back when I was in my 3rd year of my university course. The following was a very brief encounter, but a terrifying one nonetheless. I was studying abroad at a school in Saitama. Wait, let's see if I pronounce that right. Oh, it's the One Punch Man. So, okay, so Saitama. Hopefully this isn't too loud.
Saitama.
Oh, that did not sound right at all. Saitama. I doubt that that's the pronunciation by any means. We're gonna go with Saitama, and if I'm wrong, all of my Japanese subscribers will just have to crucify me or something of that nature. It's weird to think that, like, pronunciation of words is, like, sometimes really difficult to find on, like, on this, you know, just typing it into Google. Maybe I'm just bad at it. Camp Galactic says your transition from talking to chat into story narration can be confusing when consuming marijuana. Saitama. The R.L. Stein and Stephen King in storytelling. Thank you. It's so funny whenever you read their stories and then you see what they look like, and I don't know, they're just so funny looking. I was studying abroad at a school in Saitama, especially a suburb. Oh, shit. Mistake number 2. Losing my rhythm. The Emperor's Groove. I was studying abroad at a school in Saitama, essentially a suburb of Tokyo, being only 15 miles or so away from the capital city center. I was meeting a lot of new people, making a lot of new friends, getting to really practice my Japanese, and generally having the time of my life. One day after classes were finished, my friends invited me to go shopping with them at a local supermarket to get things for, nabe. What is nabe? A nabe party. One day after classes were finished, my friends invited me to go shopping with them at a local supermarket to get things for a nabe party. For those who don't know, nabe is basically a potluck dinner kind of thing. You get some fresh vegetables and cuts of meat, then you put a big pot on a little gas burner before everyone gathers around and eats together. It's a huge part of traditional Japanese culture and a great way to socialize. I was over the moon that they invited me. I was usually left out of these kinds of things at first because I was an outsider, whereas they had known each other since their freshman year. Though over the few months that we had been singing together, they'd grown to be like a family to me, each one like an overprotective big brother, especially a guy named Shinji. He was short and a bit on the heavy side, but he was extremely charismatic. Whenever he saw me fumbling around, nervous or confused, he'd quickly appear by my side and throw a heavy arm around my shoulder, asking, "What's the problem, Jamie-chan?" We all went to our friend's house for the party and ended up drinking and talking until pretty late. I checked my phone at one point to discover that it was already like 4 in the morning. Not only that, but my battery was dying. The guy has already decided that we're going to sleep for a few hours until the train started back up, but I was only about a 30-minute walk away from my shared apartment. I announced that I was leaving and started packing my stuff up. Shinji offered to walk me home, but I politely declined the offer. It would be sunrise soon, and it really wasn't all that far. I made it to the station safely, only to see a single car parked outside with a man I didn't recognize leaning up against it. He was staring at me. He was much older than me, in his mid-30s or early 40s. His head turned, watching me as I approached the station. I began to pick up my pace a little, crossing to the other side of the street to avoid him as best as I could. but I heard the car door slam and the engine start up. Headlights illuminated me, and he turned to drive alongside where I was walking. His window rolled down. "Good morning, Gaijin," he said in Japanese, Gaijin meaning foreigner. "You walking alone?" No, I'm meeting with friends soon," I replied politely. "My word, you... Oh, shit. My word, you speak very good Japanese. Where are you going?" I started walking faster, pretending not to hear his last question. "You're very beautiful. Can I get your phone number?" he asked. "I have a boyfriend." It was a lie, but I didn't know what else to say. He then proceeded to drive, and I figured he'd given up, but he suddenly pulled his car over just ahead of me before he opened the driver's door and got out. "Come on, let's go home together," he repeated a little more vehemently, taking a few steps towards me on the sidewalk. I panicked, immediately sprinting into a nearby park. There were only a handful of entrances and exits, all of which a car could not enter thanks to some well-placed bollards. I pulled out my phone, immediately calling Shinji. Just my luck, though, he didn't answer. He was probably passed out, still drunk on weak Japanese beer. I tried the rest of my group. No one answered. I looked at the next exit just in time to see his car crawl by slowly. He was still searching for me. Trembling in fear, I tried again and again, with no success to reach the guys. Just as I was about to cry, my phone lit up dimly with a phone call from Shinji. "What's the problem, Jamie-chan?" he said jokingly. I'd never been so glad to hear those words. In a flurry of words, I explained to him that I was potentially in serious trouble. Though he didn't say a word the entire time, I could practically hear the smile leave his face. In a tone so serious it was almost weird to hear it coming from him, he told me to stay where I was and that he was on his way. But I was already 20 minutes walk away, and I wasn't sure that I had 20 minutes before the guy parked his car and came to look for me on foot. I looked behind me again, just in time to see him drive by that exit slowly, looking through. "I don't have time. I'm going to make a break for it, next chance I get," I explained. No, he said. "Wait for me. I can run and be there." But Shinji wasn't a runner, not being Oops. But Shinji was not a runner. Okay. But Shinji wasn't a runner, not by any stretch of the imagination. There was absolutely no way he could get there any faster than I could. He started to say something more, but my phone suddenly went dark. Dead battery. No turning back now. I waited a few seconds, and there he was, right on schedule. He crawled by the exit, then stopped, waiting for a moment to pounce. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it thumping in my chest. The sun was starting to come up now, and he had a better view. It really was now or never. He slowly moved forward. Oops, I burped. He slowly moved forward. I crept out of my hiding spot and moved toward the exit. I poked my head out and saw him turn the corner. I sprinted toward my house and didn't look back. I don't know if he saw me and I was too fast to follow or what, but I didn't ever see the guy again. I immediately put my phone in the charger and called the guys back to let them know that I was okay. But Shinji never, ever let me walk home alone in the dark. Again. Shinji, no! Arlie Murphy with the $5 says 6 out of 10 burp, not bad. Thanks, yeah. You just wait till I try to do a serious one. When I'm drinking Diet Dr. Pepper Cherry, that's when I'm really in my stride. Anybody know anything about diet sodas and how bad they are for you? I want someone to fill my mind with conspiracy theories so I can talk about them. Just tell me anything. Literally just make up something about diet soda and I want to believe it. Just so I stop drinking it. Nani? Nani? Every time I burp, I say nani. Alright. Diet Coke's where it's at. Oh, yeah. I used to drink a lot of those at the hospital when I worked there because they just had sodas and Diet Soda did 9/11. This is true. This is very true. Just like Waluigi. It's literally cancer. Diet sodas will give you a boner. Diet soda makes your feet shrivel. One day, they'll just fall off. Diet Dr. Pepper is my life. Mine too. It was for a while, and then I had to stop. You will grow teats from diet drinks. Pure cancer. Just clumps of cancer. Aspartame. Splenda is bad. Lowers your sperm count. No, I need that. I can't be risking that. I need all my sperms at optimum efficiency at all times. Ah, Coke Zero affected your mind, could make you go silly and affect your mood. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I can't go any more silly than I already am. Rat pus on the top of cans. Make sure to wash before you drink. Interesting. I guess that would make sense. They're crawling around, kind of exposed, and then we just, like, lick the top. Make a story about Area 51. I actually was on, I guess I did a story about aliens recently in one of my paranormal videos, and someone who does animations, actually, let me check my email. I'll tell you. I'll probably link it in Discord and Twitter soon. Sharing it. Basically, they did an animation. You know, it's not like the greatest animation of all time, but at the same time, like, they did a fantastic job with the expressions on the characters' faces. So it's really impressive, like, you know, very kind of Pixar-esque. But I'll have to find that and share that with you guys here soon. Alright, so this next one is called My Dad and His Crazy Girlfriend. Your average Joe says Coke reduces sexual efficiency. Believe me, I'm very, very efficient. I sometimes they need to just pour Coke on me to slow me down. Lily says, pretty sure my boyfriend and I had seen a UFO landing, but it was in the middle of the day. Grain silos don't fold and disappear out of nowhere. Dude, that's nuts. Karen says, check out llama art. Yeah, I need to find my llama art friend so we can do some dope animation collabs. Vanikins with the 2 says, sodas are anti-butter socks. This is true. Soda will erode away all of your butter. Also, guys, I'm currently in talks with people on Fiverr. I don't know if you guys ever go on Fiverr or not, but essentially trying to find a writer who can do different documentaries and stuff like that, or at least write kind of screenplays based around the focus being documentaries on YouTube. And I think my voice would certainly lend to that pretty well. But I just don't know the topics that I want to cover. So what do you guys think? Like, what kind of topics, you know, like Rainbow and Nexpo, they cover all these like really unique, different, you know, internet mysteries. And I just don't think I can really keep up with them, you know what I mean, as far as those kind of things go. Perhaps you guys are familiar more with where they even kind of come across those different types of topics and stuff. But anyways, definitely let me know. Your Average Joe says, Coke makes you addicted to Coke. It's a gateway soda. This is true. I miss the day when it used to just have actual cocaine in it. Cover these nuts. That would be a viral video immediately. Fleshgates. Leave. Okay. Conspiracy theories. I can't really, like, if I do, I have to, like, tread lightly there because YouTube legitimately in the past 6 months, like, started not recommending conspiracy videos and stuff like that, so you almost have to search for them yourself. So that kind of blows. Alright, my dad and his crazy girlfriend. For a long time, my father has suffered with major anger issues and has a reputation for being very aggressive. My family had to put up with this until I was 9 when my parents finally got a divorce. Naturally, Mom got full custody, which severely upset my father. He began to obsess over myself and my sister, going so far as to tell us that we shouldn't have boyfriends because he was the only man who could ever truly love us, that no other boy could ever come close. It was this sort of psychological manipulation that led my mom to file for a divorce in the first place. A bad temper is one thing. He was never particularly violent anyway, but mind games can be one of the cruelest forms of emotional abuse. So, my mom had the divorce papers for a good couple of days before she actually put pen to paper. I suppose she wanted to make sure she was making the right decision. Separating kids from their biological fathers can be very bad for them, but as you can imagine, these were extenuating circumstances. The final straw was the fact that my father admitted to infidelities. This was bad enough, but it was who he did it with that really broke my mom's heart. You see, before he married her, he was in an extremely toxic relationship with a woman we'll call Cruella de Vil. She earned that nickname from myself and my sister, who saw her as all fox fur and garish red lipstick. My father was a full 30 minutes late to divorce court, which probably contributed to having his custody rights revoked. Like I said, he was very upset by this and apparently had nowhere to go after moving out of our house. According to my mom, he moved straight in with Cruella de Vil and started drinking heavily. This caused him to show up at the house a few times, drunkenly cursing up a mom. Whoops. Sydney Lee with the 5 says, hello from San Diego, love your vids. I listen to them while doing me and my clients' makeup. Are you excited for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? Yeah, I saw that movie. I thought that was so cool because I'm like, I wonder if that's actually correlated with any actual creepypasta narrators in the community or writers or something like that. Unless that's like, isn't that like, maybe that's like an old book I'm thinking of, but either way, thank you. I hope makeup is going well. Make a Let's Read about Fortnite. Now that's spooky. The fall of Fortnite. This caused him to show up at the house a few times, drunkenly cursing up at my mom's window. It didn't take long for her to file a restraining order against him. This just made him angrier. This is when things get dark. Somehow, Cruella de Vil convinced my father that they needed to come up with a plan to abduct myself and my little sister. This would secure custody whilst getting back at my mom. We only know this because we live in a small town. Everyone knows everyone, and some good Samaritan heard them planning this stuff and reported them to the police. But we didn't actually know that for a little while, not until things had started to escalate in ways that, frankly, terrified us as a family. It started with cars following us. At first, I thought my mom was just being paranoid, the stress of the divorce getting the better of her. But she was right. I, too, began to notice the same gray sedan outside of my school, following us to the grocery store or parked outside the house at night. It only stopped when my mom caught the driver taking photos of the house on his smartphone. She threatened to call the cops, and we never saw that same car again. Cruella de Vil then added me on Facebook, and out of curiosity, I accepted. I think I was just curious to check out the kind of life she lived, see if I could gather any information on how my dad was. But when I saw a status basically saying, "I can't wait until those 2 babies are mine," referring to me and my sister, I blocked her. It was horrible thinking that such a horrible woman had designs on us. Designs? Wait, this sentence is weird. It was horrible thinking that such a horrible woman had designs on us like that. Maybe like, I'll say her eyes set on us. It was horrible thinking that such a terrible woman had designs on us like that. By the time I was 16 and my little sister was 12, my mom granted my father permission to see us every second Saturday. He was great at first. It was lovely to be able to catch up with him, but he soon began displaying some scarily possessive tendencies. One such Saturday, he proceeded to sit me and my sister down and explain to us for a good half hour how we need to tell him exactly where we are and who we're with at pretty much all hours of the day. This was kind of confusing at first, until he explained that he was going to give us each a cell phone to call from, and that we were not to tell our mom about the phones. I am so glad I had the presence of mind to ignore these requests. I knew that there was something fishy about it, that Cruella would be involved somehow. I was right. They were relying on these calls from secret phones to plan our abduction. This whole thing comes to a head one day when me and my sister took a short walk to a corner store near our house. My sister needed to pick something up for school, and still being pretty young, my mom demanded that I walk her there and back to ensure her safety. After the car following us and the creepy Facebook statuses, I only happily obliged. So we're at the corner store and I decided to treat us both to an ice cream. We're gazing into the freezer cabinet at the wondrous array of flavors. We'll call him Lord Master Cult Leader, praise be. What is going on? Are you guys planning on sacrificing something in this chat? Can I trust you guys to be alone? I turned my eyes on you for 1 second. Chat, I need you to call me at all hours of the day and let me know where you are. I need to keep my eye on you. So we're at the corner store and I decide to treat us both to an ice cream. We're gazing into the freezer cabinet at the wondrous, oh my god, the wondrous away. Like I'm literally having like a 3rd grade moment right now. So we're at the corner store and I decide to treat us both to an ice cream. We're gazing into the freezer cabinet at the wondrous, dude, I can't say this. What in the freaking fruck? Your beloved cult leader literally has a lisp. The wondrous away. Alright. So we're at the corner store and I decide to treat us both to an ice cream. We're gazing into the freezer cabinet at the wondrous array of flavors, arguing playfully about which is the best. Suddenly, this rough, burly-looking guy appears next to us, smiling at me and my sister. I gave him this awkward smile back, thinking he's just a regular creep, but when he speaks, I know this is something way different. "Are you Jerry's kid?" he asks. I just nod and wonder who he is. "He says you gotta come with me. He's waiting for you." This was a school night, not a Saturday. I knew he was lying. I immediately walk my sister to the store's counter. We pay for her school supplies, then leave without the ice cream we'd been so looking forward to. But outside of the store, sat in a beat-up old van, was Cruella de Vil. She'd made a terrible attempt to disguise herself, and I knew it was her, and I swear my blood ran cold as the thought of her creepy Facebook status flashed in my mind. I grabbed my sister by the hand before looking over my shoulder. The burly guy was standing behind us now, and this time, he didn't seem so friendly. I screamed bloody murder at that creep, telling him to get away from me and my sister. I screamed all these terrible names over and over again, pointing at the guy and watching as he started to freak out. People were coming out of the walls to protect me and my sister. It was such a heartwarming display of humanity. Even this local homeless dude got up from his doorway haunt to tell us Even the doorway haunt? That's pretty funny. His doorway haunt. The homeless guy's doorway haunt. Oh, that's poetry right there. Even this local homeless dude got up from his doorway haunt to tell the guy to leave us alone. He got into the van with Cruella and they sped off down the street as an actual angry mob was forming on the sidewalk. My little sister was crying by the time I recognized one of my mom's work buddies in the crowd. She'd known us for years and was sweet as can be. She drove us home and we called the cops immediately. This story doesn't really have an ending. My dad is still terribly weird. He's attending therapy, but he managed to behave himself much better during our fortnightly visits. Sorry guys. Was that an 8 out of 10? My dad is still incredibly weird. He's attending therapy, but he manages to behave himself much better during our fortnightly visits. He's been improving steadily since a certain woman is out of his life. You see, I did get a kind of closure from this whole event. Recently, my dad had to cancel a Saturday visitation because he was attending a funeral. It was the funeral of Cruella de Vil. She'd overdosed, and she had been pushing this on my father. He stopped talking. Whoops. She'd overdosed, and apparently she had been pushing this on my father, and he stopped taking it when she died. The difference between him now and then is honestly night and day. I thank God he's getting better. It makes me happy beyond words. But that feeling is kind of bittersweet because it comes with the acknowledgement that I'm actually happy that this woman is dead. I'm glad she took a little too much and died convulsing on a grubby carpet of some cheap motel. Sometimes, I feel like if I had the chance, I'd have pushed down the plunger of that spiked syringe myself, just to get a chance at having a normal father again. Damn, that's cold-hearted, but also makes a lot of sense, I feel like. Like anybody... I've heard a lot of stories about, like, parents who... they find out the individual who got their kid or whoever into drugs, and then they go and just do some sweet, sweet justice in that direction. 101 Dalmatians. Yeah, that's what I kept thinking. Me drinking my water sounds like bong hits. Dude, I wouldn't even be able to comprehend any of these words on the screen if that was the case. Chittaphone, enthusiast with the $1, thank you. Oh yes, thank you Gothic for linking the Discord. Guys, if you guys are having fun chit-chatting with each other, be sure to join the Discord. You can download the desktop version and then also the version that's in your Internet Explorer or whatever it is. And basically it's like a chat room where you can chat with people and also join voice chat and chat with people and just make a lot of internet friends. And who doesn't just want a new internet friend? Alex Chavez, yeah, if you put anything that says follow me or anything of that nature, YouTube automatically blocks it, so you just have to probably communicate with people on their Discord. What do you say? Karen, the skeleton dancing is you in the shower. Yeah, that's a great move. It's like a very like That's actually Rick Astley in skeleton form. Vance Barta, if you don't donate, do I still see you talking? I do. I see everybody's chat. I mean, I can't always read everyone's because I'm focused on reading the stories, but I will occasionally be able to, in the plethora of comments going through, be able to catch some people's comments and read them. So thank you for joining the stream. Venikins with the 2 says, can you OD on butter socks? You most certainly cannot. That is a old wives' myth sold by witches and evil cultists, but not the good kind of cultists like the one you're joining today. The fakers, the non-believers. They aren't true believers. Oh wow, we're getting up there. 450 viewers right now, only an hour in. We got 5 more stories to rock and roll here. Thank you guys for joining. Be sure to hit that like button. Gothic, thank you for letting everybody know about Robin. He does the background art here. Really talented 3D animations and artwork. If you need that for any of your YouTube videos, Spadão. You know what that means. So this next one is just simply titled Katie. I assume this has to do with Katie being a little bit unkilter. Green Turtles, no worries. I really hope everything's going well for you in the medical realm. I know that you said this is a common thing for you, but I do hope things get better and you can break out of that dang old hole. Because I've been in a hospital or not in one necessarily, but I've worked in one for past few years when I was a nurse, and certainly doesn't seem like fun for a lot of the patients, even the ones who are on the more healthy side. It still seems kind of like borderline torture, stuck in a room all day. We do have TVs and snacks, but you can only eat so much pudding before you go insane. It starts coming out of your nose. All right. Oh, before we start the story, thank you, Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 2 says, I love this cult. Please don't sacrifice any tacos. That's a promise I can't always keep. Sometimes they just kind of find their way into my sacrificial gullet, so to speak. Green Turtles, you're breaking out tomorrow. That's good. Good news. Hopefully that doctor makes his rounds early and gets you on your way. This all starts with a football match. In late 2016, Liverpool played Everton in one of the most hotly anticipated local derbies in English football. The rivalries between the two teams is beyond intense, dividing communities and sometimes even families. These matches are always tense affairs, and this one was no different. The score remained 0-0 up until the very final minute of the game, when the glorious Sadio Mane tapped home a scuff shot to bring us victory. The pub I was in exploded. I mean, almost literally. Beer was flying everywhere. Complete strangers were hugging each other. To say the mood was celebratory would be the understatement of the century. It was in that atmosphere of revelry that I met Katie, not her real name. A petite blonde with shining blue eyes. I was instantly smitten. Myself and Katie spent a few weeks dating, grabbing pizza and beer, binge-watching Netflix. You know the deal. It was a great time, and admittedly, for the first few weeks, she was excellent company. That all changed one afternoon as we were chilling in bed, watching the Netflix. Whoops. Tacos be gone. If Joel was a nurse, you'd have 100 reasons to call me in, yeah. That would be funny. It's so weird looking at nursing and just thinking as a nurse, the two biggest things at least that come to mind as far as frustrations for being a nurse, not even the actual care or the physically difficult parts, such as swimming and diarrhea and all that kind of stuff. But just generally the charting, because anytime we do anything, we have to, like, chart it down. And it's the system that we had, and I think still do have at the hospital I worked at, was so utterly inefficient. It was kind of embarrassing, because it's just not intuitive at all. And it's weird because they, like, designed it in-house too, so that was a mega failure with millions of dollars invested. And then also the communication with doctors whenever you're trying to let them know what's going on with the patient, and you need Jamie with the $10 says burp a story. That's funny. That all changed one afternoon, and we were chilling in bed watching the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why. I don't know if that's Rick from Rick and Morty or Alex Jones. You guys will have to decide. But thank you, Jamie, thank you. I'll get focused again here, talking about nursing all day. Jeez Louise. Oh, Karma, you listen to the podcast when you chart. That's so funny. Like, that sounds amazing. My stupid hospital was, like, so freaking anal about literally everything, especially my floor. It was nice because, like, we were very efficient compared to other floors as far as, like, relying on other nurses to assist and that kind of thing. Like, you always knew that someone had your back because of sort of the implications. It's the implications, you see, if you aren't very helpful. So you always knew that people were really efficient on the floor, but at the same time, it was a lot of, like, micromanaging from the mid-level management, and a sort of trickle-down effect that just made a lot of people angry. Just basic crap that would help with quality of life for nurses in the long run, such as listening to the Let's Read podcast while you're charting. But alas, that was something we were not so much allowed to do. That all changed one afternoon as we were chilling in bed, watching that Netflix. I keep saying the Netflix. Jesus Christ. That all changed one afternoon as we were chilling in bed, watching the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why. For those that don't know, 13 Reasons Why is a show about a girl who ends her life. Yes, I appreciate... Wait, what? Yes, I appreciate there's a little more complexity to the plot, but that's the gist of it. So we're chatting away after one of the episodes finishes when, naturally, this subject comes up. Now, this is something I told her, and it's something I'll tell you too. I have absolutely zero sympathy for people who go through with it. My grandfather ended his own life to avoid a lengthy prison sentence for fraud, while Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 2 says, I thought Beetlejuice. You thought of Beetlejuice with the burp story, yeah. Yeah, wow, that's funny. I feel like Rick from Rick and Morty is kind of like Beetlejuice, almost. Who was the actor that played in Beetlejuice? Both the live action and cartoon. And was the live action like an original story? Because that is a freaking awesome original story. Dude, we need more, like, original stuff. Like, I know people are stoked about, like, the Lion King remake live action. Like, I'm sure it's fine. But, like, can we, like... Moana did great. Moana kicked butt. Like, I know so many little kids who are freaking obsessed with Moana, including, some young adults as well, and actual adults. And it's like, why? What is so hard about investing in new ideas? Like, do we really need a Aladdin reboot, a Lion King reboot, soon? We're gonna have. I was gonna say The Thing, but they've already rebooted The Thing. Anyways, let's do a Let's Read reboot right now. My grandfather ended his own life to avoid a lengthy prison sentence for fraud, while a close uncle drank himself to death after our aunt, his wife, passed away. The coroner said that he died of liver failure, but we knew what it was. A perfectly healthy man going from a glass of wine with dinner to 2 bottles of vodka a day in the space of 3 or 4 months. Yeah, we knew well what the score was there. I miss my grandpa and my uncle, but I'm also very angry with them. Through their own short-sightedness, they turned a personal tragedy into boundless heartache for our entire family. I'd give anything just to walk and talk with one of them again, and they took that chance away from me because they felt trapped by something that would work itself out given the time. In a word, it's selfishness. It's the most selfish act a person can commit. They just check out early and leave everyone else to carry their water. Anyway, I guess I'm a bit jaded, but I give this Katie girl the speech, then watch as tears form in her eyes. I assume she's just sad for me, so I instinctively go to give her a hug to tell her that basically I'm over that stuff, that it's painful, but it's behind me. To my absolute shock, she pushes me away and jumps off the bed. I'm really, really confused at this point. She has this angry look on her face, so I decide to keep my mouth shut and wait for whatever she's about to say. Do you have any idea how it feels to want to do that to you? Crap, sorry. Sometimes I get flubbed up on dialogue, because I just don't know the pacing of it. She says, her voice breaking up. Okay. Do you have any idea what it feels like to want to go through with that? She says, her voice breaking up. I flat out told her no, that I couldn't imagine being in a position that I would want to give my family its third... I flat out told her no, that I couldn't imagine being in a position that I would want to give my family its 3rd tragedy in less than 10 years. I actually felt like asking her if she'd been listening to a single word I just said. It was almost like she was reacting to a totally different statement. But before I get a chance to ask her, she just storms out, locks herself in the bathroom, and refuses to talk to me. After trying and failing to calm her down, I just get my stuff, walk out of her apartment, never to see her in the flesh again. Yeah, you got me. I said in the flesh. So it's obvious this story doesn't end here. Thanks, Internet. So I hear nothing from Katie for weeks, and I'm glad of it. I'm still really angry the way she reacted in such a way to put me in... Oops. What the frick? What the frick? What the frickin' frick? Tiny green turtles. Okay, I'm gonna try once more. Let's read. Did you ever deal with cystic fibrosis as a nurse? I believe there were some patients that had it as a secondary diagnosis. Oh yeah, guys, we're almost at 500 people here. Keep hitting that like button. But, oh, see you, Karen. Thank you. Yeah, you have a great spooky night. But yeah, I definitely had patients as a secondary diagnosis, but for the most part, most of the people that I dealt with were post-surgery, and various other medical issues, maybe not necessarily wholeheartedly focused on that, but definitely potentially a complication of that, though nothing outright comes to mind because we've dealt with so many surgeries. So I may have, but I don't recall. Porcelain Panda is ready to be sacrificed. Dude, I don't want to spoil Midsummer, but I definitely want to talk. I was about to spoil it for everyone here, or at least one part. I mean, it's been out for a bit, but I guess you can't spoil movies officially until it's what's the rule? Until it goes to VHS. Yeah, Tiny Green Turtles. Take that with a grain of salt, and maybe I just generally don't recall. So I hear nothing from Katie for weeks, and I'm glad of it. I'm still really angry she reacted in such a way to put... What the fuck? So I hear nothing from Katie for weeks, and I'm glad of it. I'm still really angry she reacted in such a way to put me... Wait, why do I keep saying put me first? Sorry, it says to me putting my heart... Okay. Do I have any funny stories from the hospital? Just this one, like, this guy was completely with it, but he just, like, had no bowel control at all, and I think he had, like, C. diff or something of that nature, and so his, like, his bed, I mean, he was completely with it, and he laughed along with this, too. It was disgusting in the moment, but I knew right when it was happening that it was, like, it was definitely going to make me laugh down the road. But, like, underneath him, it was completely, like, his bed was literally filling up with diarrhea. And then eventually, like, we had a crew of people in there to, like, completely change his bed multiple times. And I just remember, like, him laughing, and, like, as he was laughing, like, more like magma diarrhea was coming out of him through, like, in a pool in front of his crotchal region, to the point it was, like, bubbling, like it was, Mount Doom, and you had to, Frodo had to throw the ring in there or something like that. And it was just one of those scenarios where you're just like, why the fuck did I get into this profession? But at the same time, it was so ridiculously funny and disgusting that I probably just lost a few viewers because of that story. I'm sorry. Venikins with the 5 says, my sis is an ADON. She had a CNA tell her she wasn't going to do a patient's vitals. She had a CNA tell her she wasn't going to do a patient's vitals. The CNA didn't know who my sis was. It didn't end well for the CNA. Yeah. That's weird. I don't know where people, like... a lot of hot heads go in there in hospitals sometimes. Like, it's as much straight brownie batter. Yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah, a lot of hot heads going in nursing, and some people kind of get entitled. Vance, no worries. Thanks for just happy you're here. I'm going to be making these stories anyway. Oh, we've hit over 500 viewers. Thank you, guys. Yes. Yes. We've done it. The word bubbly to describe diarrhea. Alright, no more poop talk. Well, you guys can talk about poop. I'm going to move on to something a little less comedic. But I always like Sarah Silverman's stand-up, she was just talking about, like, the various phases of comedic value, how farts are funny, poop is funnier, diarrhea is the funniest. So that story technically was at the highest tier of comedic value. So I hear nothing from Katie for weeks, and I'm glad of it. I'm still really angry she reacted in such a way to me putting my heart on my sleeve, no matter how insensitive it may have seemed. So, when notifications pop up on my phone saying Katie sent a photo or whatever, I'm not best pleased. If it wasn't some sort of apology, I told myself I wouldn't be replying. But life just isn't that simple, is it? The picture message is of an online betting website, displaying a whole load of odds on various football matches being played that week. At the very bottom, in the same font and style as the rest of the lettering, were the words, OP, not telling my real name, to end my life, 35-1. I told her to F off, blocked her number and Facebook, then tried to push her despicable insult to the back of my mind. It wasn't easy, but I just about managed it. A few days later, there's an email in my Gmail inbox from an address I don't recognize. But as soon as I see that it's just a picture file attachment, no words of it, I know who it is. Lo and behold, the picture's the same betting site screenshot, telling me to end my life, 35-1. I don't even bother replying. Obviously, this is going to happen over and over until she's blocked on all forms of social media. So even though I was in the office, I spent like a third of my workday working through all my social media from LinkedIn to Twitter, finding and blocking this absolute crank from contacting me. Little side note, this meant I fell behind on my workload, meaning I had to spend an extra half an hour in the manager's office at the end of the day, getting moaned at relentlessly about the importance of integrity in the face of deadlines. He ended by saying this amounted to a verbal warning, and as you can imagine, I left the office in a very, very bad word. Oh, shit. Not a bad word. I don't know why I said that. Probably because someone typed poop into the chat. Now that is a bad word. As you can imagine, I left the office in a very, very bad mood. The day only gets worse at this point. I get home to find my flat's door kicked in, like almost booted off the hinges. Raging, I assume it's some local junkie having a burgle. Local junkie having a burgle. Raging, I assume it's some local junkie having burgled me senseless, but I find that nothing is missing. Instead, I realize with absolute horror that all of my stuff is either smashed or sliced up. The TV, Xbox, laptop, everything of value that could be easily sold was utterly destroyed. I get out my phone to call the police. Whoa, what's this word? Apoplectic? Apoplectic? Never heard that one. Apoplectic, spelled A-P-O-P-L-E-C-T-I-C. Overcome with anger, extremely indignant. Okay.
Apoplectic.
Apoplectic. Okay, it's better. Okay. You know, guys, you learn so much when doing this reading situation. I get out my phone to call the police. Apoplectic that it appears to have been vandals instead of thieving smackheads. Christ, at least junkies would find a good home for my stuff. These idiots just smash the place up. But as I do so, there's a message from an unknown number on my phone. A picture message. I know what you're thinking, and you'd be right. But the only thing that was different from the other bloody messages I got off of that complete psychopath were the odds. OP to end his life, 20-1. When the police arrived, I took a selfie of myself and the officers and sent it to the unknown number, along with the fact that I had shared the Photoshop betting odds with them too. I assured who I assumed was Katie that if this stuff continued, then she'd be spending a long time behind bars, that there was an obvious connection with the break-in and her messages. I don't know to this day if she got her psycho brothers to do it or paid some local thugs or something, as there was no way she did it all that herself. But the thing that really gets to me is that she didn't know where I lived. Somehow, in between finding my various social media profiles, she had actually managed to find out my home address. Nothing's happened since the police called round. The Kimmy, welcome, welcome. Long time no talk. Andy Geese, can you guys see me? We see you loud and clear. Alright, so... Oh man, it is hot in this house. Somehow, in between finding my various social media profiles, she had actually managed to find out my home address. Nothing's happened since the police called round and I sent her that selfie of myself and some confused camera-shy policemen. But I am still planning on moving. There's no way I'm sticking around here while that woman knows where I live. Just waiting for the right time to strike. Lily Schuff with the 2. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, thank you. MV with the blessed 777. Oh, my mom decided to kill herself. She was a nurse, and I had to tell everyone how she was done and let it go. I feel her pain, though. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, MV. Yeah, that's something that I can't comprehend, but Yeah, I'm really sorry. Alright, so this next one, similar to the last one, is just a one name story, Janelle, rather than Katie. Mickey, how long have I been streaming? I have been streaming since 1 hour and 20 minutes ago. So welcome, welcome. It's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. Do-do, do-do, do-do. Alright. Let's learn about how crazy Janelle is. In the meantime, let me reapply the lubricant to the lips. For those who like to read, especially read out loud, or maybe even talk quite a bit, keeping your lips lubricated with Aquifer Healing Ointment sure does make a difference. And that's not sponsored, believe it or not. It was the night of my 18th birthday, and I was enjoying my newfound freedom by getting drunk as possible. I'm with my mates at the local Weatherspoons. We've claimed one of the pool tables as our own, and we're having the absolute time of our lives. A couple of tables over there was a group of girls, 2 or 3 of them chatting away as they nurse 2-for-1 cocktails. One of them catches my eye when I look over, and she is absolutely gorgeous. Long, fiery red hair, bright green eyes, full pink lips. I look away, trying to look nonchalant as I take another swig of cider, but she keeps on catching my eye. Eventually, it's my turn to get another round in, so I stroll over to the bar, only to notice the gorgeous redhead doing the same. We get to the bar, and I let her order before me, earning instant brownie points before I strike up some conversation with her while our drinks are poured. She tells me her name is Janelle. I make some kind of joke about it being an unusual name. She laughs, and I'm in. Long story short, we ended up going out for a while, always meeting out somewhere, then heading back to mine. Eventually, we drift into actually being a couple, and from there we start to do more coupley things. And that's when she started acting weird. She starts arguing with me about every little thing imaginable, from not saying hello in the right way to not holding her hand in public. Anything she could turn into a fight, she would. Every argument ends the same way. She threatens to dump me. I coax her back. We kick each other in the face. Every argument ends the same way. She threatens to dump me. I coax her back. We kiss. Everyone's happy. After about 2 months or so, I start getting really sick of it. I do the decent thing. I take her out for coffee to a cozy little cafe, a public place, tell her in the nicest way I can that we're not working out. At first, everything seems really amicable. She said that she understood, and as much as it hurt, if it was the right thing to do, then there we are. But it was a front. She didn't take it well at all, and the way she acted then made her former self seem sane in comparison. The phone calls start, always from a private number, always crying. At first to my mobile, then to my home phone. I know she's faking it, because if I don't answer the phone, my parents would have a friendly little chat with her, then hand the phone to me, and immediately it's like this torrent of crying and whining as soon as I'm on the line. Then the emails start. Wall of text rants of absolute gibberish along with threats and pleading to take her back. And there are hundreds of them. There'd be days when they'd come every 5 minutes. My phone buzzing in my pocket almost constantly. I changed my number to try to get rid of her. Got a whole new contract with a different carrier. Changed my email, too. And that stopped it for a while, and that should have been the end of it. Little did I know. I started going online on various forums, games, etc. On one such forum, I struck up a friendship with a girl on there. We had a great time chatting and whatever, and we had so much in common it was completely insane. Not only were we into the same things, but she was this utterly stunning little brunette, like a proper English rose. Anyway, eventually we basically started dating online, having little Skype chats for hours. Things started out well, but over time she got a bit too clingy for my liking. She'd ask where I'd been if I was a minute late, or got jealous if she'd seen a picture of me on Facebook with another girl. She got upset at the slightest thing, or angry if I mentioned another girl's name. Even if it was, oh, Maria said she liked my work, when Maria was the lecturer for my course. Eventually I got fed up, dumped her, and we had a nice clean break. I avoided those forums, changed my Skype, and that was that. Not learning my lesson at all, I went on different forums, found another girl, and got to know her too. This one was a tan blonde, all boobs and legs, and sexy as all Whoopsie daisy. David Poole with the $5 says, love your vids and streams. Hope I don't get struck by lightning so I can keep listening in the future. Yeah. Do not stand in the middle of an open field with this stream pointed directly in the sky, because there's an off chance that it might come through your phone and strike me, and that would not be good. There'd be two of us down. But thank you, Mr. David. Okay, this one was tan blonde, all boobs and legs, and sexy as hell Australian accent. Okay. This was a tan blonde, all breasts and legs, and incredibly sexy Australian accent. She liked most of the same things I did, with enough difference that we could teach other how to do things, how to appreciate things, how to like things. She was laid back too. Compared to the latest ex, she was a breath of fresh air. If I got on Skype half an hour later than I'd said I would, she was cool with it. Eventually, I talked of meeting her. Though it was a long way from England to Sydney and expensive as anything, I was willing to fly to meet her because I wanted to see her face to face, to see the places she told me about, to go to the clubs and bars and restaurants she told me she loved. I wanted to hold her in my arms and kiss her and actually have a proper girlfriend again. She immediately broke up with me, saying I'd only be disappointed with the reality. Then came the latest girl. She was American, brunette, something of a rock chick, completely different to my usual kind of girl. We met on some chat site I used when I was bored, got talking, swapped details, etc. She introduced me to a ton of music I'd never even considered listening to, and I did the same for her. If I complained about something, she told me to man up. If I turned up late, she told me it was fine because time is something the man makes us believe in. She was the coolest girl I'd ever known. Again, we dated on Skype. Again, we talked about meeting. Again, she broke up with me, saying that it had all just been in fun or whatever. It was cool. It was amicable and fine, and that was that. All this happened over a couple of years, with me being with each girl anywhere between 4 and 6 months, and my between times being made 1 to 3 months. I was a quick worker and all about the rebound. Anyway, I came back to my hometown for the holiday. I was wandering along the road when who should I see but Janelle of all people. Rather than avoiding her, I carried on walking. She came up to me, said she had something to tell me and we needed to talk, desperately. I made all kinds of excuses, but each one she batted aside until she wore me down. We went to the pub and she told me something that basically terrified me. She hadn't wanted to give up on me, so she used what she knew of me to find places I'd go online. She made different accounts, lots of different accounts, in the hopes that she'd find me so she could talk to me and try and win me back. except she'd make fake accounts so I wouldn't immediately ignore her. See where this is going? Yup. Every one of the girls I dated had been her, using pictures of friends, using fake accents, pretending to not know things she knew. She'd follow me across at least a dozen different websites, stalk me across hundreds of posts and threads, and all the time had me believe I was talking to completely different people. I didn't date anyone for a couple of years after that. I don't know whatever came of her. After that, she sort of disappeared from my life, and I haven't seen her since. I went out briefly with a couple of other girls, but only ones I'd met face to face, who didn't look anything like her at all. I don't know if she still follows me about online, or if she does, if she knows about this account. But if you're looking at this, hi, Janelle. David Kaza donated 279 Canadian buckaroo. Says, my real name is Deanna. Gang, gang. Gang, gang. Robin with the 20 kroners says, check yo Twitter DM later, law. I can do that. Robin is sliding directly in between my DMs, if you know what I'm saying. Just kidding. But not really. All right. Is Bob Lazar the guy who worked for Area 51 or something? I do believe so. Yeah, I recognize that name, and I do believe. But he also might be something correlated to that, maybe like part of the history prior. Actually, let's just look it up, and I can, with the power of the internet, oh, he kind of looks like Stephen King. That's creepy. Dude, he is Stephen King. He's an American physicist. Robert Scott Lazar is an American physicist who claimed to have worked on reverse engineering purported extraterrestrial technology at a site called S4, located several kilometers south of Area 51, Groom Lake, and their operating location. Dude, that's sick. That's actually cool. Dude, imagine working on extraterrestrial technology. Like, how do you even perceive the world whenever you, like, outright know, like, when you outright know that aliens exist? Or not even that, like, where it's not even, like, fun fiction anymore. It's like you legitimately are, like, working backwards engineering their tech. It's freaking crazy. But then Rational Wiki, right down below, says Robert Lazar is a double-edged sword of UFO cranks. On the one hand, he's a pathological liar with a long laundry list of fantasies. That doesn't sound biased at all. Some people just need to have an open mind, man. Yo, I'm holding up a peace sign, in case you guys are wondering. Hamilton, welcome back. Yeah, are we storming Area 51? Guys, we've got over 550 people here. Let's get it to 600 if we can. Hit that like button. Every like equals one storm of Area 51. Every like equals one alien free. And we can... Every like equals one clapped cheek on them hot anime aliens. Ridley H said, gotta go do a bubbly poop. I'm gonna create a lava lake down there. Robin Cullen, do you believe in aliens? I certainly think they're mathematically probable. You're storming my DMs. Oh no! Oh no! I definitely think aliens are mathematically probable. I mean, at the same time, I also the other day was talking to my friend. I mean, this wasn't the other day. This was many whiles ago. But I went on a missions trip one time, and this dude on the missions trip, and we were in Puerto Rico. Like, he legitimately believed the Earth was flat, And everything that you threw at him, you know, to sort of counteract that idea, you know, he just shot it down with some like sort of arbitrary argument, like whenever you're in the plane and you're flying over and you can see the horizon and its curvature of the earth, he, you know, argued that the plane's windows were curved, or that the lenses of cameras were curved, and that created the curvature of the earth that we see through sort of an optical illusion. And I was like, well, what about every other freaking picture you take? Nothing's curved there. Like I look at, you know, take it with my phone. You know, it's just like nothing you could say got through to him. But at the same time, me being the, you know, intellectual that I am, when I was alone with my thoughts, I sat there and I looked up in the sky and I realized not one single time in my life have I ever been in space, explored the earth really, other than like some plane trips. And if I was just some random caveman, maybe the earth could be flat. Maybe Let's Read is a flat earther, who knows? Buttersock flat earth cult is starting up. The fish-eyed lens, yeah. Uh-oh, now everybody thinks the earth's flat in here. Guys, listen, we need to talk about this. This is very serious stuff. The lenses, they're curved, all right? They're curved. But no, you know what I mean? Like at this, there's a lot of interest. I mean, I've been looking in like to the weird side of YouTube per se since like many moons ago, and you come across some freaking strange ideas, but they're fun because it's kind of like, it's almost like real life fiction or something like that, or like fiction based in real life, just real life lore per se, you know. And you know, some people think that aliens are sort of interdimensional beings, like the technology or the ability to travel through those long distances are mathematically or physically impossible. Traveling at the speed of light is physically impossible, but obviously we don't know what kind of technology some superior species might have, you know. But some people think that they're sort of interdimensional, and then it's kind of like the parallel effect of maybe what old spiritual texts might say about being demonic or something of that nature. Once again, I just like to entertain the fun ideas. I have no idea really about anything, and if I haven't seen about 1,000 alien movies, I don't even think the idea of like things existing outside of in space would even have crossed my mind unless I was told about it. But once again, you don't really know the truth until it's presented to you. So yeah, we got about 3 more stories left here. Sorry about my rambling. These are all still stalker stories. Yeah. And it's weird too, people thinking that the earth is flat or the moon is cheese, which would be sick. What kind of cheese though? Blue cheese? Cheddar? Pepper jack? I mean, there's a lot of amateur astronomers and stuff out there. Oh, dude, also the guy literally thought that all the stars in the sky were like water particles or something like that. My thought is that like if NASA were to have created the conspiracy that the Earth is just one planet amidst billions of other celestial bodies, trillions maybe even, out there in the endless infinity of space, how, if that's made up to people who believe in the flat Earth, like, how could you hide that? How do you keep up such an intense ruse that like entire college courses, PhD programs are all oriented around that in the research of astronomy. You know what I mean? Like there's people, not just NASA, a government funded program that you could argue on a really superficial generic level is corrupt or whatever, you know. Like what about all the other amateur astronomers and individuals that do research? I just think it's all like a really short-sighted perspective towards reality. Venikins with the 5 says, please make some socks that say butter on them for your merch. I shall wear them proudly. I would love that. And I'm going to check, what's it called? Spreadshirt, to see if they offer socks. I'm very limited with what they have on there, which kind of stinks. I wish I had more options. Does Teespring have a lot more options? I'm not really sure. It's so tough to make the transition over there, but what's so nice about Spreadshirt is that it's just very simplified, and you can do orders just at any time. Like if someone wants a shirt this week, they can get one. If they want one a month from now, they can get one. Like you don't always have to do orders in bulk like some websites do, where you kind of do campaigns, and because that's just so much promotion that like I know nobody even cares about. Like if people want merch, they will find the merch, you know what I mean? But yeah, Gothic, thank you for linking that. That's shop.spreadshirt.com/let's read for your buttery socky goodness. Asherella, yeah, Robin just made some cool design to be on a new shirt there, so I'm going to be uploading that probably soon here when I get some free time. But it's really dope. Robin does a lot of cool artistic endeavors. The following is taken from a Reddit comment left by a deleted username on a post from a young lady who is suffering at the hands of a stalker. Stalker. Such an ugly word. By definition, it suggests stealth, a threat, something ominous. But I just wanted to be noticed. There are so many beautiful girls out there. I see them every day, but they don't see me. And I want them to see me. I think you should be grateful that this person has chosen to only pursue you online. They're not trying to be threatening or trying to scare you. They're simply trying to gain your attention. The attention you so wantingly squander on brain-dead, drooling chads who want nothing more than parts of you. People like us are different. We want all of you. Every single piece. I prefer the word passionate to stalker. I mean, can you not see how much passion this person has? How much time and effort they've taken to finding you on all of your social media? You should be flattered. Not complaining to a bunch of other Stacys on Reddit about how fortunate you are to receive... Wait, what? Oh. You should be flattered. Not complaining to a bunch of other Stacys on Reddit how fortunate you are to receive such attention. But I do feel like he's made a few mistakes in his approach. I've pursued a handful of girls over the past few years, admittedly to no avail. But the thing I learned was that a guy should learn to take joy on the subtle things. Just knowing where your potential soulmate is at any one time, learning and mapping out her schedule so you can be there at a special moment in her day, all the while she is totally unaware of your presence. Things like that make you feel smart. They're a rush. He's also making no attempt to mask what he's doing. Reaching out using his own personal social media profiles is a huge mistake. If I could, I'd recommend creating a fake business page that suits her interests. Pad the page out with fake posts. Maybe pay one of those Chinese-like farms a few $100s to make the page look even more legit. Then boom, once she's liked it, you break past her privacy wall and can view all of her posts. All those little check-ins, photos of friends and family. It's so nice to get to know your girl's parents before you meet them. That kind of thing impresses a girl. Another good way to gain access to your girl's possessions is to fake a burglary or break-in. Now, this is very risky, but if she happens to live in the inner city, this is definitely a feasible manner of approach. The cops already have a list of usual suspects they're going to turn to. Why on earth would they suspect a mid-20s community college student who lives in his mom's basement like 10 miles away? They won't. Not unless you've contacted her with your own social media, that poor, desperate fool. If he hadn't been so rash, he could have smashed his way into your apartment while you were at work. The rougher the better. Junkies don't do lockpicks. Grabbed a few electrical items to mask the scent, then helped himself to a fistful of your dirty panties. Trust me, a few pairs of underwear go missing doesn't even register when your $1,500 MacBook is missing. And how often do you lose underwear? Yeah, that's what I thought. I feel like one of the more upsetting things about this post is that the guy is out to hurt you or something. He's obviously smitten with you. Why would he hurt something he clearly loves? I mean, occasionally I feel like if I can't have someone, no one should, but rarely to our kind act on shit. Sorry, this is fucking creepy, dude. What the fuck? Yeah, this literally sounds like a how to stalk someone. Alright, sorry about that. I mean, occasionally I feel like if I can't have someone, no one should. But rarely to our kind act. But rarely do our kind act on such urges. They're mostly born out of frustration. Like, have you ever even tried talking to this guy? Asking him to stop? From what I understand, the only communication you had was when you were very rude to him, and I don't think this is the kind of situation that you want to escalate so that your pursuer is angry or contemptuous. Like I said, you should be grateful such a passionate person is reaching out to you. We're passionate, not monsters, not by any stretch of the imagination. One time when I got a little too excited to see one of my girls walking home alone at night, I might have rushed after her so I could catch up to say hello. Obviously, this wasn't a brilliant idea, and she got so scared. But I'm not the kind of guy to give up easily, not when such a fruitful opportunity presents itself, so I kept running, following her into a dark piece of parkland. She shouldn't have been wearing such silly footwear. Heels are definitely not designed to run in. So when she tipped. When she tipped her server, Alexandra Santana says, anyone know any scary videos? There's one that someone sent me. Sam from the Discord sent a lot of people this video of like a nun, like a haunted nun or something like that. I didn't watch it because that stuff, like, even though I make scary videos, I actually get really scared easily, so I didn't want to be alone. Natalia, you made the baby Spider-Man meme. Thank you. Yeah, I thought of this meme earlier where it would be like a picture of baby Spider-Man, and he says, or the doctor just Thanos. The doctor just Thanos snapped my foreskin. So, I'm hoping that goes viral, but I'm kind of late to the party on Thanos snap memes. So when she tripped and landed in the dirt with a horrible thud, I couldn't help but laugh. I know, hardly gentlemanly of me, but the way she fell and twisted her ankle was just hilarious, like something out of a bad horror movie. When I approached her, I was too out of breath to really say anything, just stood over her, admiring how pretty she looked in the moonlight. She was crying, but it didn't bother me. Nothing could have ruined that moment for me. Nothing. I kneeled down to, I don't know, hold her or something, comfort her in that moment of pain, but she begged. She pleaded with me. Please, don't. And that's all she needed to say. Please. I'm not a monster. I didn't want to scare her, even if it was so funny. One little please and I left her alone. I even called her an ambulance as her ankle was askew as this really gross angle. Whoops. I even called her an ambulance as her ankle was askew at this really gross angle, but not before I took a little kiss as a thank you. So please, rethink your approach to this situation and ask yourself if you were in this guy's position, lonely, ignored, requiring attention, would you be acting any different? No, you wouldn't. You'd be desperate not to spend your time on Earth alone and end up used up. Amber McDropkick, that's a great name, with a $1. Thank you. Gracios. Gracios, mi amigos. Alright, so where was it? Where was I with this creepy Reddit post? No, you wouldn't. You'd be desperate not to spend your time on Earth alone and end up some used-up old spinster with a herd of cats and a dried-up snatch. So maybe give this guy a chance. It might be your only option. After all, if he's doing his job properly, and he's able to see this post, he might be very, very angry indeed. Jesus, that was quite ominous. And I almost felt like I read that too well, almost like I was the creeper that sent that to her. Like I've been there before, or something. Just kidding. Alright, this next one's called Bianca Devins. Interesting. A dried up snatch, I know, right? Jesus. Really hit me in the core. We got 2 more stories here. We're almost at 600 viewers. Thank you guys for hitting that like button, sharing the stream with your friends. Let them know you're having a good time in here. And we need them. We need them. Tiny Green Turtles, Let's Read has a secret incel personality. Oh yeah, I was going to name my YouTube channel Incel Reads, but I figured Let's was more appropriate. With that voice, you wouldn't mind getting stalked. Hello. Hello, Kaylin. It's me, your stalker. I'm... well, wait, where are you? Oh, crap. Wait, where are you? Oh, I thought you were at this place. You're supposed to be here. Where are you? I was supposed to stalk you. Also, can you pick me up? I'm gonna call my mom. Of all the new mediums of entertainment to come out of the digital age, streaming has to be the most interesting. Raw, candid footage is beamed all around the world while faceless strangers tune in to watch anything from cooking tutorials to gaming sessions, and even some seedier content. This has caused a cosmic shift in how younger people consume media. Traditional forms of entertainment, be it movies or TV shows, are being increasingly neglected in favor of content that provides a considerably more interactive experience. What's more, viewers can contribute financially to their favorite streamers, giving a sense of purpose, belonging, Shit. What the hell? This story's talking about us. What the hell's going on, dude? This is very meta. What's more, viewers can contribute financially to their favorite streamers, giving a sense of purpose, belonging, and community that aforementioned media mediums simply cannot offer. For example, streamers who play video games online often invite certain viewers to join them in their favorite game, even further breaking down the barriers between creator and consumer. The benefits and rewards are obvious. Some streamers who began streaming games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds or Fortnite just a few years ago in their mom's basement are now self-made multi-millionaires thanks to advertising revenue, sponsorship deals, and subscriber fees. But little is spoken of the negative aspects of putting one's personal life on public display. While the relationship between creators and consumers is mostly a healthy one, there comes occasions where the boundaries of that relationship are crossed, when admiration and affection become obsession and possessiveness. And this is the story of Bianca Devins. Bianca Michelle Devins was born in 2002 in Utica, New York, and grew up there with her stepmother, Kaylee, and sister, Olivia. By the time she is 17, she is petite, pretty... Whoops. Why is this story talking about us? I don't understand. Doggo has bathed now to help my grandma. Oh, that's good. For some reason when you said bathe, I was just thinking like Doggo has drank Belle Delphine's bathwater. I don't know why that's the first thing that came to my mind. Maybe I'm a freak. Okay. By the time she is 17, she is a petite, pretty young lady with dark brown hair and eyes so dark they're almost black. She loves fashion, Chinese food, and any movie starring Brad Pitt. An interest in fashion led Devins to the photography app Instagram, and naturally it wasn't long before the teenager was taking pictures of herself and posting them to Instagram, earning herself over 100,000 followers. Her niche seemed to be the pastel pink hair dye and anime ooh chick that Instagram seemed to find irresistible, and Devins soon branched out into other corners of the internet such as 4chan and Discord. This is supposedly where she met Brandon Clark. Despite a claim from the sister Olivia that Brandon Clark was a friend of the family, Devins repeatedly referred to Clark as her internet boyfriend, and sources insist that they had only met a handful of times. What's clear, though, is that Brandon Clark was under the impression that he and Bianca were dating exclusively, and was heartbroken to discover that Bianca did not share his public... Wait, whoops, fuck, sorry. Being a freak is A-okay. Ooh-woo. Can we get an ooh-woo in the chat? Ooh-woo. What the fuck? Let's read some big old weeb now. Alright. What's clear, though, is that Brandon Clark was under the impression that he and Bianca were dating exclusively, and was heartbroken to discover that Bianca did not share his devotion. In his heartbreak, Clark began spying on Devins, tracking her down in public, creating embarrassing spectacles of himself by begging for her return. In her Discord server, using the name Oxy, Bianca posts cryptic, caveated apologies for hurting those close to her as a result of her own selfishness. It is widely believed that this is referring to the breakdown of her relationship with Clark. Subsequent unconfirmed rumors began to circulate that Devin was increasingly dabbling in hard drugs and BDSM, and was selling nude photographs of herself to fund her new habit. Perhaps most disturbingly, there are reports that Devins reported... Oh, fart. Bennikins with the 2 says, Pradeep Kitte is Joel's favorite Starker. This is true. And he is not here with me tonight, and hasn't even smashed his body into the door one time. Ooh woo. Bastion GT with the 2 says, love listening to your stories before bed. Thank you, Bastion. Welcome, welcome. Super Sand Lesbian 666. I'm kind of a weeb, hence the username. I don't know that... I'm not familiar with that weebiness. So many ooh-woos. I kind of have some merch that like sort of has like my character in like ooh-woo form, kind of anime weeaboo. Original Asherella with the 5 says, best Stalker song, Lily, My One and Only by Smashing Pumpkins, and personally, if my heart had a voice, it would be that of Billy Corgan. It's funny how different he looks now. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I saw that, and I don't know. It was interesting to hear him talk about, reaching such a high level of success. And, I don't know. To get to that point of success and then suddenly, there you are at the top. You were fighting to get to the top for so long and now you're up there. What do you do? But he seems to have kept his mind about him, which is good. Lynn Tillman with the 10. Thank you. Says, I've been watching some stocks. I think I'm going to invest in dividend stocks and keep the dividends in a separate account until tax time. What do you think? I think so. And I do believe that you may not have to, it just depends, I guess, if you take, I'm not the best person to ask tax advice, as I have no superior experience or training, but I definitely know that as long as you don't hit into any sort of capital gains by pulling anything out, you should be safe from Uncle Sam for a period of time. So I would suggest talking to your accountant about that one, or a financial advisor, of which I am not. Though I do appreciate a good stonk from time to time. Perhaps most disturbingly, there are reports that Devons recorded an illicit tape with a member of her Discord server. The footage spread like wildfire online, message boards, and forums, but due to her being a minor at the time of filming, the New York State Police intervened and her online presence diminished considerably as a result. After a brief online silence, Devons broke the news that she and Brandon Clark would be attending a concert by Canadian singer Nicole Dollanganger. The concert would take place in their hometown of Utica, so on the night of the performance, Clark picked up Devons in his SUV and drove her to the show. Clark can be forgiven for thinking that this was some kind of date night, two young lovers attending a performance of ethereal, romantic pop music together. But again, this was simply not what Devons had in mind. Messages on her Discord server revealed that whilst attending the concert, Devons met up with another, different boy, reportedly holding hands and kissing him in full view of Brandon Clark. However, the interaction didn't end there. The trio returned to Clark's SUV to smoke cannabis, with Devons sitting in the back seat with her new boy, sending a clear message to Clark. This must have been objectively humiliating for someone who was surely already feeling insecure about the rekindling of the romance, but what happened next is almost unthinkable. The next day, when Bianca Devons failed to return home, her stepmother began to worry. She called around Bianca's friends, but none had heard from her or Clark since the previous night. It's about then that Devon's stepmother called the Utica Police Department to report Bianca missing. Yet, around the same time that these phone calls are taking place, an Instagram account with the username Yes Juliet posts a teaser of a new Little Peep album that they supposedly have exclusive information on. Hype begins to build in the year and a half since the musician's accidental overdosing interest in him has skyrocketed, but the following posts do not concern a new record. Yes Juliet is the Instagram account. Sorry guys. Tiny Green Turtle, see ya. Have a good night. Have a good night. Night. Ote. Mission start. Yes Juliet is the Instagram Yes Juliet is the Instagram account of Brandon Clark, and the photographs he is about to upload will horrify all that see them. The first is the body of a young woman who bears a strong resemblance to Bianca Devons. She has the same dark eyes, the same sculpted nose, the same messy brunette hair. As she lies in the passenger seat of an indistinguishable vehicle, Blood is soaked into her clothes, red flecks of it plastering her lifeless facial features. She has a huge, jagged slice in her throat. The picture is immediately shared to Discord, where some users simply cannot believe what they are seeing. The body is in such a horrendous state that many fail to recognize their teenage idol, saying the resemblance to Devon's is a strong one, but that it simply cannot be her. Try to reverse image search on this, found nothing. Who is this girl, OP? Another person asks. The next photo shows a green tarpaulin. Whoops. This is messed up. I didn't even know this about this girl. I never even heard about this. Is this legit? Is this like a legit true... Someone's like doing some reporting. The next photo shows a green tarp on the floor of a forest, the clear shape of a lifeless corpse underneath it. The caption reads, "I'm sorry, Bianca." But this is somehow still not the most traumatic of all the photos. The next takes that title easily. Brandon Clark proceeds to upload a photograph of himself, his head resting on the covered dead body of his former lover. He has cut his own throat. His lips are pursed with pain, the color draining from his face, the wound to the left side of his neck, the same side as the fatal wound that Bianca suffered at his very own hands. "Ashes to ashes," reads the caption. Little is known about the investigation other than that Brandon Clark has been charged with her murder. How he came to survive this attempt is open to speculation. Perhaps a jogger or dog walker came across the grisly scene and called for medical help. Or perhaps Brandon Clark is more cowardly than he is dastardly and called for his own ambulance. He was, after all, posting pictures of himself in his dying moments via smartphone. It's no great leap of the imagination that he was simply afraid to die and hit 911 himself. Bianca Devons lived her life online, and no doubt it enriched her life for a while. But in the end, the exposure she sought was ultimately her demise. There is no doubt that Brandon Clark was an evil, cowardly, obsessive person who is entirely to blame for Bianca's death. But there is also no doubt that his malevolent ways were exacerbated by a not warrant... sorry. But there is also no doubt that his malevolent ways were exacerbated by a life lived in the public eye. But regardless, the lifestyle Bianca chose to lead did not warrant the kind of violent death she suffered. What happened was an avoidable tragedy, a callous crime committed by a cretinous coward. May Bianca Michelle Devons rest in peace. Well, shit, man. Fuck. It's fucking scary. Is that what's gonna happen to me, guys? What the fuck? Sorry. Making light of a very non-light scenario. Typical Let's Read. It's the only way to cope when the morbidity of life sometimes is a bit of a quip. I hope you can forgive me. I feel like yeah, Mia, yeah, the names didn't even change, but I think it's because it wasn't a case that's trying to avoid being heard. This is apparently pretty known, based on what this guy's saying, I guess. Original Asherella. Yeah, I probably have a stalker. I don't know. I'm not really worth stalking, to be honest, because I don't do anything interesting other than this. Oh yeah, will you guys protect me from my stalker? Dilly dilly. Fondage knows. Statistically, if there are aliens, there's at least one stalker out there trying to find me. Jamie, you can be my stalker. That's fine. Get on one knee. Will you be my stalker? Grecian. How the hell do you say this word? What the frickin' frick? Dude, Mom, that's not mine. What the frick?
Grecian.
Grecian. Okay. You guys remember that video where the kid orders a bong, but he's like, it's an Xbox controller. She's like, what is this? Some sort of lamp stand or something? He's like, what the frick? It's like, this is the greatest shit ever. His brothers or whoever is just filming. Mia, holy shit, that just happened in July? Dear God. Ewan or E-Wind Rider? Peace out. Peace out, Boy Scout. If I have enough stalkers, hopefully once they get to me, they'll all just fight to the death. Prove themselves in combat. He pled not guilty just today. Holy shiz. So that's fresh off the presses. Dang. My thoughts on pancakes? They're all amazing, but some are better than others. Udders. And I love butter and I love syrup, so. Did you ever have Kodiak cakes? They're like protein pancakes. I hear those are pretty lit. Pretty litty titty, bro. Let's Read promises to always stay up to date on all the coolest hip happening kids sayings. Litty titty, super duper, way whack-a-mole, fluffy, you know, like soup, you know, like okie dokie. So, you know, if you got like, you know, like a cool slang saying that you want Let's Read to like say about, you know, be sure to submit that in the link below. Skirt skirt. Yo, I like to, my favorite saying is, yo, that's barbecue sauce. Or no, that's sauce. Short for that's barbecue sauce. Because I love barbecue sauce. And I just like really want to let people know that I love that. So like, yo, that's sauce. And they're just like, dude, I knew you were into this. It all started with a Reddit comment. I saw a change my view post about trans pronouns that advocated the use of unconventional pronouns such as zim or zer. I've always thought this was the height of silliness. I'm not anti-trans by any stretch of the imagination, but inventing sci-fi sounding pronouns for an already isolated section of society is no way to solve the problem of inclusion. So I simply stated as such. I don't believe my comment was offensive or inflammatory. I made it clear I sympathized with anyone in the grip of an identity crisis. After all, even the ancient Grecian philosopher Thales said that the most difficult thing in life is to know oneself. But as you can imagine, after a few odd upvotes, the post was brigaded by various left-wing subreddits as vote manipulation and abusive responses sent the comments section into chaos. Nothing new to Reddit. I'm sure many of you will understand. But I wasn't expecting the personal messages to start appearing in my inbox. Messages that mentioned the writer wanting me to die in a fire, for my mom to get bone cancer, and other such creative put-downs. I was dismayed, sure, but I just blocked the users and carried on with my day. The next morning, when I arrived into work, I was immediately called into a meeting with our office manager. I didn't suspect a thing. Morning meetings were hardly a rarity, so I was relaxed as could be when I strolled into his office and took a seat. But when I saw the look on his face, I knew something serious was afoot. He was nervous, which wasn't like him at all. In his hands were a few sheets of printer paper. He starts asking me if I've anything I'd like to share with him, that old routine. And in the politest way possible, I even... Oops. Hey! Nalina! Welcome, welcome. She has become a full-grown pizza. And we stand that. We stand full-grown pizzas. See, oh, that's a kid saying. Standing things and such. Thank you, Nalina. It's good to see you again. The cheeks are thoroughly massaged and now have hot wings in my possession for my hard work. Oh, yeah. Panda, I think you've earned those wings. Dude, I haven't gone to a wing night. Do you guys have wing night around? Yo, you guys got wing night? Anybody here ever heard of the mysterious thing called wing night? The greatest. That's what the, you know what? The Buttersock cult is going to have a wing night. Shrek, resume the fucking story, fam. All right. I just wanted to show my love for wings, and I just don't want to lose your guys' attention. I love you. I love talking to you. Just love me. Love me, love me. Say that you love me. And in the politest way possible, I asked him to cut it out and tell me what the issue was. I had hit all my monthly deadlines. My client review was the best in our region. I had nothing to hide and nothing to be afraid of. Or so I thought. He put the sheets of paper down in front of me. The letterhead bore the logo of our country police force. I read with absolute disbelief how it's... Wait, what? I read with absolute disbelief how stated that... Oh, okay. I read with absolute disbelief how it stated that I was a subject of investigation pertaining to a pedophile ring that was... Oh, God. I can't say the word pedophile, dude. Fuck. And that's like pretty integral to the... I'm not saying that I can't. It's just that my superstitions to the monetization aspects of YouTube would lead me to believe that I can't say that word. And so if anybody's got any bright ideas, be sure to click that like button. Smash the... Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 2. Stop wing shaming this man. No. They better cut it out. Don't shame the wing. I used to house... Oh, man. Dude, I could be a competitive eater. I'm serious. Like, I used to house wings back in the Dizzy. I love barbecue wings. But I did this one... Pedo. Child... Oh, you're right. Child trafficking. That'd be a good one. What do we say? Pedo or child? Yeah. Pedo. It's funny in Britain they say pedophile. Kitty Fiddler. Guys, you've got all the good names here. Alright, we'll just say pedo. I don't even care. It'll be the last story anyways. Can't say pedo or child or anything like that. Yeah. We'll say trafficking. I read with absolute disbelief how it stated that I was subject to an investigation pertaining to a trafficking ring that was targeting deaf children around the state. I tried to explain that there had to be some kind of mistake, that there was no way these documents were real, or if they were, that it had to be someone who shared my name. I received no contact from local law enforcement, and all it would take were a few phone calls on management's parts to confirm this. But the more desperate I got, the less my manager seemed to believe me. He seemed genuinely sorry to have to do it, but he told me I would be suspended from work on full pay until the situation resolved itself. I couldn't believe it. I just sat there, numb, as he apologized and asked me to vacate the building before lunchtime. I was still in shock as I drove home, unable to quite compute just what had gone down that morning. Yet I remained confident that the situation would blow over once the company discovered just how grave an error had been made. When I reached the neighborhood my apartment was located in, I noticed a large pickup parked outside my building, one I'd never seen before. Any other day I'd have just ignored it, but something about this particular day told me to expect the unexpected. Bad things do come in threes after all. I wasn't wrong. Hey you! An angry, grizzled voice came as I was halfway to the door of my apartment. You think it real funny, huh? Excuse me? You think it's funny to make jokes about a woman's terminal illness? Wait, what? No. Who? But then it clicked. This was another case of mistaken identity. It had to be. I started to explain that this was some kind of mistake and that I'd never seen him before in my life, and that there was no way I'd ever make some obnoxious comments about fatal illnesses. The punch hit me before I could even react. I'd never been a fighter. I wasn't even remotely athletic, so when I saw the guy's fists flying through the air in an almost cartoonish slow motion, I just froze. The next thing I knew was coming to on the steps of my apartment building as this pickup truck owning tough guy was still barking obscenities at me. My ears were ringing. I could taste blood in my mouth. I felt so dizzy I was nauseous, but something the guy said brought me out of it in an instant. You think you can run your mouth just because you got a Reddit account? Not so anonymous now, huh? I was too winded to respond. Those words echoed around my skull. Reddit. My Reddit account. Suddenly the penny dropped. After the guy drove off, I dragged myself up from the concrete, hobbling up the stairs into my apartment and over to my laptop. It was my post history. I realized in horror that there was a lot of personal detail in my post history. Nothing concrete, but it wouldn't take someone a whole lot to piece together certain snippets of information to gain a rough picture of who I was. It seems someone had done just that. There was no other explanation. In a flurry of clicks, I deleted all the posts and comments that someone could use to glean information on me. The bad, unexpected things stopped happening after a few days. The final straw was when someone spray-painted transphobe on the door of my apartment in bright yellow lettering. It was only then that I truly realized what was going on. Some absolute psycho had seen my comment on the trans pronoun question and decided to dox me. I'm still not 100% sure how they managed to, or the extent of the doxing, but I know things started to calm down once I moved apartments and cleared my name with the local police. I suppose the lesson from all of this is to be very, very careful just what information you release online. There are some very unsavory people out there who, despite their claim of moral superiority, are nothing more than hateful, spiteful stalkers. We sacrifice burritos. Can I get another? Heck yeah! Can I get a heck yeah? I love sports. Can I get a heck yeah? Saturdays are for the boys. Ashham, thank you for the $1 Gracias. We must protect the leader at all costs. Protect me from overeating. That's the real protect. Protect me from the snacks. The snacks. Krizia, you will get better. You just have to practice. I've been doing this sort of reading thing, like reading aloud, narrating, this sort of reading aloud thing. I've been doing it for, I guess, almost 5 years now, so you can imagine, like, close to a lot of content, hours and hours of reading. And obviously, as you realized, I've made a lot of mistakes, but also I think there's certain things, Jamie, I think that's a good one, actually. Protect your cult leader. But I think as time goes on, as I've from story 1 to story now, I've gotten more fluid, and I think a lot of these stories sort of progress in the same fashion. There are certain authors that, like, all these stories were really good, so I just kind of, like, there weren't a lot of grammatical errors, or rather not that many, that afforded me the ability to read so well. Shrek the Great. Shrek, you said, I'm a subscribe, but did you find this stream randomly? That's what I'm interested in, because I'm always curious how YouTube distributes the streams and all that kind of stuff. But most importantly, he loves Snack. Original Asherella, as a former nurse, how do you feel about the anti-vax people? Well, interestingly enough, there was an individual, I won't go into specifics, at my work that almost lost her job because of avoiding vaccinations around individuals that would be kind of immunocompromised, specifically children. So it certainly does cause quite a bit of concern within the medical field, especially if you're caring for people and that kind of thing. But strawberries for breakfast, welcome back. I love that picture of Clefairy. It looks so nefarious. $1. Thank you, my good friend. It's good to see you. Ski Mask Saggy says, will you do a face reveal? Guess what? I've not only done a face reveal, I've done videos. All sorts of videos. And they're on Discord. And if you join Discord, you go to selfies. It's a pin messages. You can see me in all my glorious face havingness. And make it all that easier to want to stalk me. But remember, there's a lot of stalkers. So you're going to have to fight them first before. Cheyenne Dory Bob with the 2 says, would you collab with Your Maker? I have collabed with Your Maker about 2 or 3 times so far, I believe. Maybe twice. But, yeah, he's a good guy. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r.let's.read.official, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends, and remember to protect your cult leader. Wow, that sounded really ominous. Your cult leader. Sarah Winterbottom, that's a great name, with a 5, says, thanks for your content. You are welcome, Sarah. Thank you for your dono. Well, guys, yeah, thanks for getting us to 600 peeps tonight. That's huge. That's legit. Too legit to quit. But yeah, this video, in its entirety, in its edited, beautiful form, will be out tomorrow at 7 p.m., Eastern Standard Time, East Coast of the United States. And if you'd like to get it early in the audio, I'll be editing the audio tonight, in the middle of the night sometime, or prior to the video. I will upload the audio to Patreon, early access, for an MP3 that you can download. And that's only $1 a month, so it's only if you want to, support the channel more. Even all the individuals who donated here, which I'm very grateful for, you could take that $1, throw it over to Patreon, and have complete early access to all the audio way ahead of everybody else, which is just another fun way to support the podcast here. So, Amber, thank you. Mick Dropkick, greatest name ever. Hope that's real, with $1. But guys, I do not... I am so thankful for you guys. You guys are amazing. I'll be back soon, trying to stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and at some point during the weekend prior to videos coming out. So keep an eye out for those. Follow me on social media, Discord, everywhere you possibly can, so you can keep up on when the streams are happening, on the off chance that the YouTube system does not give the best of alerts. But also click that notification bell if you haven't already. That'll usually guarantee you notifications for new videos and the like, but I can't guarantee it because never trust technology. It will soon take us over. But love you guys. Have an amazing night, an amazing day tomorrow, and I will see you all again soon.